Well, it is time for our weekly Mayor's Chat. Let's check in with St. Catharines Mayor Walter Sendzik. Good morning. How was your birthday party?
Thank you very much, Bob. It was fun, and I said goodbye to the 40s, and so that was a little bit of an emotional
That's
goodbye.
a milestone. Yeah.
And, and then I've got to look forward to the 50s. So I appreciate the support, Bob, and the nice little photo of me. I hadn't seen that photo in a long time.
So cute. We'd show it again, but we don't want to violate any election laws, you know. It was too cute. We've got some viewer mail question for you from Andrew Gill on Twitter. Andrew tweets, this coming Tuesday will be 14 weeks since the St. Catharines Mayor and Council told us on November 30th that the cleanup of the Welland house rubble would begin in 3 weeks. Can we ask the good mayor about that?
Yeah, and it's a challenging property. It's owned by folks that aren't from St. Catharines. They're outside in the GTA area. It is a complicated piece of property because there's a heritage designation on it. And so the property owners have been working with the City of St. Catharines. The chief bylaw officer for the City of St. Catharines has said to the owners if work doesn't commence soon, that the city will have to actually go on and do the work itself. So the owners have made application. We're waiting for the payment of that application. And once that's in place, then they can proceed forward with the cleanup. And if that doesn't take place relatively soon, then the chief building officer will go in and the city will begin the cleanup and charge the landowner with the cleanup costs.
Okay, we've got some big developments in the affordable housing front, including a big developer partnership with Habitat for Humanity. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that was an initiative by City of St. Catharines Council, and we're one of the most aggressive councils in the region when it comes to affordable and social housing. And so this is a project that was owned by the City of St. Catharines, the property itself. So we partnered with Pantera and Bethlehem Housing in terms of building a 250-unit affordable, attainable social housing project on this site. And the Habitat for Humanity has come into the project through Pantera and Bethlehem Housing. And so it really does create a very dynamic housing project. And we understand we have a housing crisis in our community. At Council on Monday, we approved a 6-story rental unit that's going to be built in the Meriton area that includes 35 units for affordable units for seniors. So we're really taking an aggressive approach on how we can work with our development community and the not-for-profit community to address a housing crisis that's happening across the province, and we're taking a leadership role in that.
The State of the City address is coming up in a few weeks. Can you give us a preview of what we can expect?
Yeah, it's going to be about really moving forward through the pandemic in terms of what does recovery look like. It's going to be about how do we bring the community together, Bob? There's been a tearing at the fabric of the community in terms of how people have felt about the pandemic. There's a lot of polarization that's happening in our community. And so it's not just our community, but a lot of different communities. But really the focus I want to have is about social cohesion and how do we move forward from the pandemic and how do we do it in a way that brings everybody along so that recovery is available for everybody. And that's going to be one of the key aspects of the State of the City address.
Okay. Before we go, it's been overwhelming, the response from Canadians with the crisis in Ukraine. You were actually one of the, I think the first area politician to talk about it here on Morning Live. And, the diaspora of Ukrainians is the largest in the world outside of Russia and Ukraine. So no surprise, but St. Catharines is certainly being a big center for that as well.
Yeah, and the outpouring of support, Bob, and when you look at social media and the amount of support that our community and communities across the country have for Ukraine it's emotional. It's beautiful to see, and I want to give a shout out to a St. Catharines native, Ed Bertinsky, very world-renowned photographer, and yes, he donated his works to raise funds, raised over $600,000, and then shared a story about his mom growing up in Ukraine and the horrors that she experienced. And then she moved here to St. Catharines, and she was part of that Ukrainian community that's been so strong here in Niagara. And so he did that because of learning from his mom and how difficult it was for her. These are challenging times for Ukrainians in Ukraine and around the world because there's so much fear and uncertainty as the aggression that we've seen from Russia, the unjust invasion. And so we just want to continue to support our Ukrainian brothers and sisters as much as possible.
Okay, thanks for that. We've got to shift to the weather here. You might want to open up some patios in St. Catharines on Sunday.
Let's open the patios. I love it. Open them.